they come out clean.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Birds in the Buckets. I'm Rashad Milligan. I'm joined here by my co-host Malik Brown. Malik, how you doing today?
Feeling good, my brother. We here on a Monday. Well, I guess Tuesday. So living good, man. Living good as always.
I heard it. Can I complain? And we have one of my favorite Hawks and Atlanta sports content creators on the internet. You might have seen him here. You might have seen him there. You might have seen him everywhere. We have Mr. all the way up in KC, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. If I got to keep going, then I don't know what I'm saying. Everybody make sure you go right to Prize Picks. ASU code 20% off, whatever. I don't know if it's 20% off. Don't put that on my tab. But yes, Mr. Brice Lewis. Brice, how you doing today, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be in. I'm glad for the amazing introduction. I'm glad to be a part of it, guys. I love keeping up with y'all too. Appreciate being on, getting the honor to be on with you guys today.
Oh man, it's a long off season. Since the Hawks lost in the first round in 5 games, we have all the time in the world to talk. So, with that being said, the Atlanta Hawks season is over in 5 games. They called me a hater for saying it was going to happen, but look, I guess hating works sometimes. So, is there any takeaways from this season? Any surprises? Anything that you guys want to say about the season, how it went?
Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and start. I mean, in terms of the season overall, and in terms of what happened, I mean, the biggest thing that was just surprising, I guess, is kind of the complacency with the team. I said before the season that to be a consistent, great team in the league, you have an identity, and then you use the regular season to develop those habits. Because every year, you're coming back after the offseason, you got to redevelop the habits because you haven't done it, in a few months, depending on when your season ended. And the Hawks, to me, never really did that. It was kind of that, we're just going to get to the playoffs and then we're going to turn it on. And then they never developed habits throughout the season. And then when it was time to actually step up, it was like, well, what do we do? What is our thing? I think last year going into the playoffs, we had a bit of an identity, it was pretty much, Trey runs it. You got the pick and roll. Pick and roll was the offense, it was one of the most effective things in the playoffs. Nobody could stop it. Trey could get into the paint or they alley to John or Collins. You got Bogey hitting threes. I always said with the injuries too, it was like, well, your roster's short. So you kind of knew what you had to do for the team to be successful. Where I think this year, having all the players that we considered having a lot of depth, it was kind of like, okay, well, do you do it? Do I do it? Am I supposed to do this now? Because you're back, And so I think all of those elements going into the season, and then you can talk about COVID injuries and et cetera, affected the season outlook and why basically it just didn't feel the same. It didn't feel like guys who played well for us last year are playing well for us this year. And, just that's why the season seems like it was just disappointing based on how everything went.
Yeah, man, it was definitely disappointing. Just the fact that coming in, everybody expected like top 4 seed. You feel me? I thought it was going to be a top 2 seed. So for you to even be in to finish in the 9th spot, and if you take away the playing, you're not in the playoffs at all. So to be put in that position was disappointing. Definitely disappointing I'm pretty sure it was disappointing for everybody. And then, of course, you get in. Congratulations, you got in. 8th seed. You come in banged up with John and Clint down. Just like an overall through the whole season, it was, I can remember just vividly with so many takes. I had Cam Reddish takes. I had takes about the players just coming in thinking that, that they're bigger than everybody else because of what happened last year. It could have been, a collection of all of that. At the end of the day, they underachieved. But at the same, honestly, I don't know if they underachieved or they just really had a lucky season last year, honestly. Like, you really don't know what this team is. And we probably won't know because there might be some changes this offseason. So Yeah, but definitely disappointing season.
And in the time of our last recording, the thing that has changed, Tony Ressler addressed the media. Tony Ressler, Atlanta Hawks majority owner. And he addressed the media and he was like, I'm very hands-on. I'm very involved with the management moves and stuff, especially, when I don't really like the product that's on the floor. He did say he felt like it was a mistake to bring everybody back. And he did tell Terrence Moore, salute to Terrence Moore, the kind of brainchild behind this entire operation. He did tell him that, he was willing to go get a superstar. And he felt like, that was kind of the move for them to go out and get a second superstar or get a second star. I don't know if I want to say superstar because you get into the whole thing of there's only 5 superstars. There's only 4 superstars, so but to get another star. So there's that thing. He said he wasn't afraid to go into the luxury tax. Now you're all caught up. You're good. Good. Okay, good. We got it. Like I said, man, it's just they had a loser's mentality. I don't think last year was a fluke. I think last year was as talented as they were, which is why I can, I guess, safely say all 3 of us up here, we probably thought that the Hawks were going to contend for a top 4 seed, regardless of what Chicago added, regardless of Boston getting another year better and everything like that. We probably thought the Hawks were going to be top 4 seed just because what they did last season, and then they brought everybody back. I thought personally they were probably the deepest team in the East because you look at the first unit, you can kind of interchange Cam, Dre, Kevin, Bogey. You look down the line, they went 10 deep. And then you have on the third string, you still had Jane, you still had Jalen Johnson, you still had Coop, all those guys who were pretty good players. You still had Sky, who had 20 points in the game last year, if given the chance. So they just look like the deepest team from 1 through 15 or 14, however many guys they had under full contract this season. So it was very surprising to see that they were so bad. But it was apparent about midway through the season after the COVID, when everybody came back and they were still losing, that it was just they just had a loser's mentality. Like I said in previous episodes, they played down the competition. They let their foot off the gas after getting off to early leads and blew how many leads in the fourth quarter officially, but even unofficially, of how many leads they blew of just like, games they were in had the momentum. If you were watching the game, they might have been 2-4 points behind, but they had the momentum and they looked like they should have won that game and they lost that game. So many of those games because they played down and up to their competition. The Phoenix win, we point to that a lot, and it's because they played up to the competition. The Knicks wins, or the Knicks win because Trae Young played up to the, it's always, if you play based off of the environment, you're playing with a loser's mentality. Winners play consistently. Okay, we're going to win. We're going to dominate each and every single night to the best of our abilities. That's what's so impressive about, as you guys mentioned, the back-to-back runs. That's what's so impressive about San Antonio doing it for 20 straight years. That is insane. Like 20 straight years. And you even, I guess you can give kind of your flowers to the mediocrity that was the 2010s with the Joe Johnsons and Josh Smiths and everything like that going for 10 years in a row. So, they had a loser's mentality and it bit them in the back, but I'm glad that it happened to them because it wakes you up and like, this thing isn't easy. And, Trey, salute to Trey taking accountability and getting in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I'm the biggest guy or anything like that, obviously, but, defense, as we always talk about, is a problem with them. And he just doesn't give effort. And a lot of people say, well, what do you expect when the dude weighs 100 more pounds than him and he's coming down the lane? Do you want him to try to step in front of him and when he has no chance and now he takes himself out for the next 2 offensive possessions because he's disoriented from trying to play defense and get in front of a guy that weighs 100 more pounds than him? So what did he do? He got in the gym. He went straight to the gym and was like, I'm motivated. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Salute to Trey for taking accountability and stepping up and acknowledging that he has to play better and he has to do better. And the rest will follow. I think it's just interesting to see what the team does this offseason. We've said this for the past 4 or 5 months on this podcast, as Malik and I talked about before. So if there's anything else, this is your time to talk about the Atlanta Hawks before we move on.
Well, it's actually funny. We're expecting changes, off this off season and everything. And, people were talking about how could, we bring everybody back last year. We should have traded when the value was high and everything like that. And I think something that was interesting is, when you think about it, when you're a GM, you're never going to bat 1,000 as a GM. It just doesn't happen. It's just, it's life. I mean, people think, Usai Jerry is one of the best GMs in the league. But outside of the Kawhi, Toronto has not been close to sniffing a title. But we consider him that because he's able to find good players, keep the team relevant. You're getting a good product, and it's just very well run. And I think leading up to this season, for the most part, people think Travis, for the most part, was doing a good job with the team. Really didn't have any too many issues. We knew when he came into it, it was a rebuilding situation. So you're not expecting the team to just become a winning team out of the blue. And then last season happened, Kevin Huerter was playing well, Trey, hit that next level, especially in the playoffs. Bogey, people forget Bogey was a big key contributor for the Hawks that year. And, Clint Capella was looking like one of the better defensive players in the game. People were surprised he wasn't even defensive of the year player contention. And then even Deandre, before he got hurt earlier in the season, he was averaging like almost 18 a game. He was playing good basketball. And so if you think about going into the offseason after a season like that, it's not like there was a player that's like, hey, we definitely got to move off of them. So it was easy to see why he may have thought, okay, we can run it back with these guys, especially because they're young.
I don't fault Travis Link at all for running it back with it. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Cam is looking like Michael Jordan in Game 6. Dre was looking like he could be something before that injury in January 2021. They were looking like they could be something. Kevin Huerter was a steady rock. When Bogey caught fire, he caught fire from the beginning of April to the end of July. He couldn't miss. He didn't miss a shot for 4 months. What do you expect? It is, you can't blame Travis Link for running the back. Continue.
Yeah, and you can't. And I think that's what I think some people were like mad about it. But it's like, it's not like there was one player that's like, if we trade him, we're going to get better. Because the last thing you want to do is trade a player and then you don't get better. Like, people forget, we should have traded people. What if we traded other people and still had the same season? We probably would have been saying, dang, we should have kept so-and-so. So it's always tough being a GM in that situation, trying to figure out who should we move off, who should we stick with. And I also feel like, too, obviously, I know a lot of people have talked about Nate McMillan and if he's the right coach for the job and everything like that. And to me, I feel like Nate is more of a veterans coach. And what I mean by that is he wants guys who already know how to do it and then puts them in position to do it, where when you still have a team like the Hawks have a lot of young guys in their mid-20s, they're still, even though they're talented, they're still learning. You're seeing it, I think, even with Memphis. Obviously they're super talented. They're a top 3 seed. But, I mean, listen, right now, I mean, everybody's kind of expecting them to lose tonight because Ja is out especially. And then probably, I mean, maybe they win Game 5, but they could lose Game 5. And even through the entire series, you've seen Golden State's battle testiness, championship readiness, even through every run. The games have been extremely close and competitive. Memphis is the team that's unexperienced. And so if they don't play well, you saw what happened in Game 3. They got blew out of the building. And, I just don't feel like Nate is a guy who is a developer. Yeah, he's not a developer to me of players. And so when you have young players, he's expecting the players to develop. And then he's like, all right, when we get to the season, this is what we're doing. And that's it, because there's certain guys in the league, can develop. Like Nick Nurse develops. That's why Scotty Barnes and Siakam and all those guys that they've brought in over the years, OG, have played better, every year because they've been developed. I think not Usai, but Udoka. I think he's a developer of players. I think that's what the Hawks would need with the core that they have now. But since they're in a win now mode, and people forget now with them making the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago, that changed everything. It went from just making the playoffs and then seeing where we are to, okay, win now, we expect a championship. So after the season we had, everybody's kind of like, blow the core up. We got to trade, so we can get a championship. And listen, we can do that, and there's still a chance that we still don't win a championship. And then what are you going to say? We're going to say Travis, it was bad as his job? I mean, listen, it's hard. But you always feel like you're capable. As long as you have a chance, that's all you really want at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. When I really think about it, I really don't see what move you could have made last year to just get better. Like I don't understand. I never understood. I don't understand when Travis and Tony were like, we should have did something last year. Like, what could have you have done? Like, I mean, the biggest thing to do last year was re-sign John Collins, and it was literally like nobody out there that was better than John Collins. So I mean, maybe the contract is bad. Maybe the contract is bad. Maybe you should have signed John Collins for less. I think you could have. I think you could have signed John for less. But I mean, other than making you got DeLon Wright. I think that was an upgrade. You signed Gorgie. You barely you played him when Onyeka was out, but I mean, he was still solid until you stopped playing him. You drafted two guys that were like supposedly steals, didn't play them though. So I mean, whose fault is that? Like, like Brice says, you got to go to the coaching. We all know Nate McMillan does not like to develop people. He sticks with vets and people that he trusts. He's not gonna take a risk and go out on a limb and say, "Oh man, let me get Jalen Johnson in this game right now." We may be down John Collins and Gallinari, but we're good. We can move DeAndre Hunter to the 4. Put TLC in at 3. Keep Kevin in. We're not going to
sign Lance Stevenson to a 10-day contract.
You sign Lance Stevenson to a 10-day.
That boy was getting more PT.
What's his name? What's dude's name that they signed again? And the Chandi Brown. All the salute Chandi Brown. I'm saying congratulations on realizing your NBA dream. Jalen Johnson was the 20th pick in the draft, right? He was supposed to go top 5, right? Why was Chandi Brown, man off the street? Why was Cat Barbara, College Park Skyhawk legend?
Shout out to Cat.
So salute the Cat. He deserved it. He deserved the opportunity to be on the roster when the rest of the roster got COVID. He should not be getting PT over Jalen Johnson, bro. And Coop. Them jokers was playing Lee Shy, Navendigo, and Navendigo in December for about 2-3 weeks. They got these jokers sitting and Jalen Johnson and Coop just watching them on the bench. And then Coop got COVID. I said, dog, Coop was about to get 5 minutes.
Jalen Johnson got COVID.
And then Jalen Johnson got, man, it was bad, man. But like that was like, okay, this man is stubborn. Like he got Nishak and Bendigo off the street who ain't played in the NBA in 3 years playing ahead of this man is stubborn. I've never seen anything like that. But you can go ahead and continue.
But yeah, man. Honestly forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, I don't know. And honestly, looking into this season, I'm pretty sure I've said it in the last episode or maybe the episode before this, but I honestly don't see where you get better this year. Like, you're just so strung up in cap, and unless Tony wants to pay the luxury. You are it's a very, very good chance that Trey's going to get all NBA. There's a very good chance. So his number is going to go up. The most possible choice you do is try to do something with Gallo. But other than that, what you going to trade Kevin Huerter and what you going to trade Kevin Huerter for? What's out there for better than Kevin Huerter right now?
Kevin Huerter and Danilo Gallinari for Bradley Beal, Jaylen Brown, and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, that's basically what Hawks Twitter telling me right now. So yeah, shout out to Hawks Twitter, man. Y'all really know how to get the trade machine going, man.
Not the trade machine, not the world famous. Let's give up 2 guys for a star player. Let's do a pick in there just to sweeten it up. Let's sweeten it up with the pick.
Hey, look. The salaries match. It's a fair trade.
I'm elite. Because while we laughing, ain't nobody saw Kevin Knox being the best deal available for Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish was supposed to be Tracy McGrady, and the best thing y'all got is a joker that ain't played since 2018. And they said we had to get the best deal. And he requested this trade in the summer. So he requested this trade in July 2020, right? What was that, 2021? July 2021.
2 weeks after that season was over.
In January 2022, you mean the best deal that you got in that wide margin for this Joker who scored? But he had 27 points in the game that they lost, game 6 against Milwaukee, and went 7 for 7 or 7 for 8 from 3. You mean the best deal you could have got for him was Kevin Knox?
Hey, don't forget last year.
While we laughing about this Bradley Beal for Kevin Huerter, you know, hey, it might happen because apparently they're just doing it. Go ahead, Brice.
I was to say, don't forget last year. Remember, we heard those rumors that around draft time they think about trading for a lottery pick. So I guess teams were telling them, like, listen, outside of a lottery pick and maybe an okay player, we're not giving you anything significant for Cam just because he hasn't been a starter. So they're like, we're not about to mortgage anything to you without seeing him in a starting position. And I think, especially when he went to the Knicks, you know, everybody's like, dang, I want to see Cam starting. I want to see him flourish. You know what I'm saying? We were like, you know what I'm saying? We want to see if Cam really that guy. And it's funny because when we had COVID, he was the one player who didn't get it until like after all that, like at the end of the COVID, everybody getting COVID. He was having 30-point games. He was jacking up shots, but he was getting everybody play.
He had no choice.
yeah, like 33 against Sacramento. What was that, Sacramento? And they lost at home.
He had the one against Chicago too.
It was Trey and Cam 1 and 2 options.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was Trey and Cam, right?
Yeah, for a couple of trades.
I remember that game against Chicago, but like them jokers, man, Chicago looked unbeatable in December. I was like, these dudes are made, like, because they had all 3 of them all-stars. Because, you know, Big Boy, too, from Orlando, Vooch. That joker was going off on the Hawks, too. I'm like, oh, my gosh, these dudes have, and Lonzo's hurt? They have Lonzo? And I was like, bro, these dudes are unbeatable. Boy, was I wrong about that. But I guess, you know, is there anything else? Well, because, you know, someone was talking about boy they confused Patrick Mahomes with from the Duke. They was like, oh, what if he go to the Hawks? It's like, you think if they traded up for him, is Nate gonna play him next year? He said, no.
We're going straight to the G League.
It is what it is, bro. He's gonna be a College Park Skyhawks legend, bro.
I'm dead. Hey, now listen. If he brings a championship to College Park, man, that's a secret weapon. Secret weapon going into next year.
Do they hang up you gotta hang up a banner. I just thought about it. It's like a regular G. It's like being in Maine. Like if the Maine Red Claws win, they hang up the banner. You know? So it's just that the fact that we're so close to the arena that it feels different. But yeah, you gotta hang up the banner. Salute to Coop, man. Best of luck to him. I hope he has a good and prosperous offseason. Clears his mental, stays clear, and stays positive, stays upbeat, and everything like that. Jalen Johnson too, and I hope Jalen Johnson doesn't request a trade. But you know, you look at I don't know. I think B on the last one. Shout out B McCoy. He came on the last episode and he said, you know, look at the Celtics. You know, Celtics were kind of in the same position where they made it kind of ahead of schedule, 2017 to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they just kept the same group together. Kept losing, kept the same group together. Kept losing, kept the same group together. Now this year, they could still very much lose again in the second round. But if they don't and they make it to the finals as Malik has projected them to do, then hey, you know, look at them. They just kept the group together, kept losing, and eventually pulled through. So go ahead, Brice.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and that's a good example, actually, the Boston Celtics. I mean, because I think the thing is that, like I said, usually cores you see get 3, 4, 5 years to me. You know, you have 2 or 3 designated players, and then you just try to build a team around those players to maximize those players plus the players you bring in. That's why I think, you know, I've seen some people on Hawks Twitter talk about, well, hold on a second. Do we really need to break everything up? Do we need to break everybody up? Because I think the biggest thing is that you don't want them just recklessly making moves just to try to shake it up, and then you're not actually making the team better. You have to think about team chemistry, team balance. I always said the reason why I think the second unit, especially at the beginning of the season last year, wasn't as effective as the people expected was because Cam Reddish is a volume shooter at this point, so he's kind of an ISO guy. And then we're talking about a playmaker, but like I said, Cam like I said, he's an ISO guy, and then Bogey needs to be set up, and then Gallo is also kind of an ISO guy.
Oh,
But
well,
can be
Gallo comes into camp out of shape like Luka, right? So it takes Gallo every year, and it has for the past how many seasons into February to get to a normal NBA player. So you got to keep that in mind as well too.
Yeah, and obviously Clint was coming off his injury. He got an injection for, and guys were a little banged up coming off some stuff and everything. So I think if we move anybody, I've always said probably Kevin to me, just because between the two shooting guards, I'd rather have Bogey, just because I know Bogey to me has shown he's more consistent, and we know what he's capable of in terms of this. Bogey can have that big night, and he can do it more often. Remember, the second half of the year, he was one of the reasons why the bench unit was better, because he was coming off the bench, giving you at least almost 15, 16 a night.
Trade both of them. I'm sorry. I had to say it. Go ahead, Bryce. Continue. Trade both of them jokers, man. Listen. But look, Kevin Huerter's a great man. And so is Bogey. Bogey's a very nice guy and a great teammate. But if you're going to trade one of them, and you're like, I'm going to choose Bogey over him because he's more, trade both of them jokers. Go ahead, Bryce.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the reason why I say that, just like I said, is just because I feel like we're right now where the Hawks are with their depth. If you trade them both, you have no guards outside of Trey and DeLon. And
it is what it is.
But are you trading for another guard? Because I'm just saying, it's the same reason why I'm careful with Deandre. Because if you think about it, we don't really have any threes because Cam's gone. And I don't think Kevin Knox is going to be in that split. We don't want TLC playing. And they look at Jalen Johnson as a 4. So you get rid of DeAndre, you have no threes. And you don't want to just have a position where you don't have who your number 1 and number 2 guys are. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I mean, you're trading for, I think it's either, the big 3 that everybody's been talking about, right?
I mean, yeah, potentially. I mean, you could get into the big 3 because, I have my thoughts about that, but I just feel like you got to think about when you always build a team, and this is what Milwaukee's doing too, and why they've been successful. Think about guys who have been key contributors, and think about places you could upgrade or improve or get more depth in. Remember, they picked up Wesley Matthews in December for nothing. People forget Wesley Matthews is probably one of the better 3-and-D guys in the league. And then you still have Connaughton. And so, because remember, they lost DiVincenzo, so they needed to we got to get another guard in here, because outside of that, it would just be him. And then Forbes is gone, You have balance across the roster. I feel like Milwaukee is one of the most balanced rosters in the league at every position. They always have a 1, 2, and maybe even go to a 3. And I also think Phoenix as well. That's why they've also had a lot of success. And I think that's the main thing I'm looking at with the Hawks, is just developing a balance across the roster. And okay, so who has been big contributors for us, and who can we afford to let go and try to upgrade or try to go after that star player for? You know what I'm saying? You don't want to just get rid of guys, and then the guys you're bringing in, you know what I'm saying? Because remember, you bring in a star player, he's probably on max deal, so you don't have a lot of cap. Obviously, you're paying luxury tax, but we see what you have to do. You're bringing in mid-level salary exception guys, 3-and-D guys. I mean, unless we're about to sit here and try to sign Malik Monk next year, we're gonna bring in Malik Monk and try to replace Bogey and Kevin Huerter. Then you know what I'm saying? You got to make sure it makes the most sense for the roster overall.
So
I think you just no. Go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, you want to run down the big 3 real quick? I know we wanted to. All right, so let's do it. Donovan Mitchell gave up 40 points to Jalen Brunson in a playoff game. Bryce, go ahead and give me your take on Donovan Mitchell.
That thing about Donovan Mitchell, I'm not honestly in as love with the trade as other people, just because I feel like you trade for Donovan Mitchell, you're probably trading away whatever decent defensive players that you have. And then I'm worried that they're going to become Portland East or Brooklyn currently, where, yeah, they could score. Trey and Donovan probably can get their own shot. Everybody's talking about how easy the shots are going to come. But dang, you remember what they were talking about also on Utah Twitter, NBA Twitter. They said Rudy Gobert up there struggling for his life because the guards can't guard nobody. Everybody getting through on a drive. He got to step up every single time. And if we that was our biggest issue this year, defense. We actually scored, we were on the top offensive teams in the league. So, to say, hey, Jake and Donovan Mitchell, I mean, okay, we could score, but are we stopping anybody? If we ain't stopping nobody, we're basically having to try to do what teams have had a hard time doing throughout NBA history, which is outscore teams, and especially in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? The Bucks, they can stop you defensively and score. The Phoenix, they can stop you defensively and score. If you get Donovan Mitchell, yeah, we can score. Well, I don't know if we can stop you.
Malik.
No. No. Just through the season, the Hawks had the top 3 offense in the league. Defense was the problem. Just bringing in more. And it was impaired. It was obvious that in the playoffs, the Hawks needed more help on offense. Like, it couldn't have just been Trey. Like, that was evident. So of course you want to upgrade offense like that. You want to upgrade some part of the offense, but at the same time, defense has been the problem the whole entire season. So, like Brice said, if you want to get a Donovan Mitchell, you're probably going to have to give up somebody good. Well, like one of the defenders. So DeAndre Hunter, you might have to I don't think you give up Clint because you're not trying to get Rudy, but you're probably going to have to give up DeAndre. You kind of wanted DeAndre. You want DeAndre.
Probably him and JC.
Yeah. You're going to have to give up JC probably. You're going to probably have to give up either one of those two. You might be able to keep DeAndre. Who knows? But if you read Chris Kirshner's article, he said that the Utah Jazz actually like DeAndre Hunter. So if there was a trade, DeAndre Hunter would probably be involved in it. So at that point, you don't have anybody at the 3 that's really worth any, unless you put Kevin there. You can put Kevin at the 3. But I don't know, man. It's really tough, man. Who knows? Kevin might be in the deal too. So you might be giving up the farm for Donovan Mitchell, and then you'll have a backcourt that plays no defense at all, but can put up 150 a night. That's cool, but you're giving up 155 on the other side of the court. So it don't
bubble vibes.
right. So no, man, no, I'm not a fan.
I'm gonna say no for the reasons that y'all have said. But I do think that it is an interesting dynamic when you have the offense is so predictable when everything runs through Trey and a defense just keys in on Trey. We saw so many games like the Golden State. I think it was a Golden State game they did that against Trey. The one where Steph had 50. Like they Golden State played a gimmicky defense on Trey. And then what else? What other game? The Charlotte games during the regular season as well. So it was just Miami just keyed in on and shut him all the way off. And then the offense is like they get the ball in their hands, they ain't know what to do. Like they never held the basketball in their hands except for the 2 minutes that Bogey didn't miss those threes in game. What was that? 3, the only win? Yeah, game 3. So yeah, that's a problem. So to have a Donovan Mitchell would be amazing in that aspect, but like you guys said, for the other reasons. So with that being said, number 2 is Bradley Beal. Brice.
Yeah, with Bradley, he's I think he's just a little bit bigger than Donovan, I think. But it's kind of the same thing, only he's also older too. So obviously I think about that. He has had an injury history. Bradley Beal's been hurt a lot. It's kind of one of those things where it's just like, again, I always say for most of the names we have, there's no really perfect player, just because there's always that player's gonna have something that's just like, that's the only thing. And Bradley, again, same thing. You'll be able to score a lot, but I don't know if obviously Bradley, like I said, slightly bigger. So he probably could play some type of defense and everything. But I just think age, injuries. That's the last thing we're going to trade the farm, and Bradley missed the rest of the year. It's like, okay, well, we're back where we started, where it's just Trey, and the team's not anywhere probably as good roster wise if you make a trade like that. So you're kind of putting yourself in a bad spot there.
Russell Westbrook type beat. Malik, go ahead.
No. This one's different because I think Bradley Beal's a free agent. So I mean, you're gonna have to outright sign him. Like I said earlier, the Hawks are broke. The Hawks are broke. Once Trey get all NBA, it's wraps. It's wraps. And even if you trade Gallo, still not enough. Because Brad gonna want close to the max. You don't have enough money for that. You really don't, unless you trade off John for a draft pick or something like that. But I mean, are we going to do a John for a John? We going to get rid of John, then sign Bradley? Then what you going to do at the 4? Are we going to put Jalen Johnson in? Oh, I forgot. We got Nate McMillan as the head coach, so I don't know how we going to do that. So, I mean, you probably already got rid of Gallo too. So that's them your 2 4s right there. 2 4s going. They going. So you have no choice but to play Jalen Johnson. So
you're gonna have to call up my boy, double machine, Justin Tillman.
Justin Tillman.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, at that point, I mean, nah. I mean, I like what Bradley Beal does, but at the same time, he kind of presents the same problems that Donovan Mitchell would have if he joined the Hawks. I mean, great offense, defense, so nah.
And I guess the bonus question in that is the 4th person, Zach Levine.
Zach's fine. I think he could definitely be a Robin. I mean, obviously you saw with Chicago, DeRozan was Batman. And Levine didn't really. I don't know if I just didn't pay attention to the series close enough, but I don't think he really did anything crazy that series against Milwaukee. I mean, we've never seen Levine basically in that situation where, he's competing at the highest level and is expected to come through. And we don't really know if he can yet. And so that's more of we know Trey can, but we don't know if Zach can. So again, it's like if you trade for him, young guy can score, he's a bucket, gives you somebody who could break down the defense. But again, it's like when you get closer to playoff time, do you trust Zach? Do you think Zach can, when it's time? Because Trey, I mean, you would think it would make the game easier for Trey. Like if Trey gonna be Trey, can Zach be Zach, or is he going to start bricking? And then it's just like, well, we're back to where we started.
Malik.
Zach Levine. I like Zach. Zach is young. I definitely think he gives more effort on defense than Donovan and Brad. He's a free agent. So I mean, you have to say no because you still don't know how you'll make all that work unless it's a sign and trade. Those are the only ways those things can work if it's a sign and trade and he actually wants to come to Atlanta. But no, I like Zach. It's funny. I actually when the Hawks drafted Trey, I think I think Zach was like maybe a free. It was something going on with Zach, and I was like, dang, he would probably fit well here. And that was 4 years ago. So I like Zach, man. I like what he does. I out of all of those guys, I'd take Zach. If it was possible, I'd take Zach.
And then here's my home run pick. I think it's going to be yeses across the board, but I don't know. Maybe you guys throw a curveball. Jaylen Brown. Yes, for me, it's a yes.
I'm dead. Yeah, I mean, I've always said if we trade for anybody, man, it has to be a two-way guy. It has to be a two-way. Cannot be just one specialty. It has to be two-way. So that way you got somebody who can set the tone, but also can get a bucket. Jaylen would be a great fit if, we wanted to get him. Obviously, it's highly unlikely Boston will break the core up. I don't think even after this season, they're going to give him a couple of years with Tatum, with Udoka. But, I mean, he would be a great fit for what we're trying to do. And obviously, he's a versatile player, so he can play 2 and 3. So it just depends. Now, that situation, you have like, if you're the Travis, you're like, all right, we can play Jaylen at 2 and get a 3, or we can play him at a 3 and find a 2 and da-da-da-da-da. Then my Malik Monk pick goes, and then that's your backcourt. Trey Malik Monk and Jaylen Brown, baby. Yes, sir. You see that firepower? Can't beat it, boy. You get what I'm saying?
Brogdon's a free agent this year, right? Speaking of Atlanta kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a free agent. That's interesting. Just throwing that out there. Go ahead, Malik. Jaylen Brown.
Oh yeah, for sure. Bring him home. Bring him home. Bring him home. Man, it's less likely to happen though, because I'm pretty sure when Boston advances, there's no hope. There's no hope. I mean, I'm pretty there. I don't think there was a hope. Like, I felt like there was hope at the beginning of the season when Boston wasn't doing very good, but like they kind of just like flipped the switch and like became like one of the best teams in the NBA. And it was kind of like, yeah, this Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown thing is actually working. So yeah, it might not happen, man. But yeah, I don't look, I really only hope right now is Anthony Edwards, man.
I'm dead.
Man.
Let that man come home, man. Let these dudes come home.
Listen, I know a Minnesota fan. He's talking about please take D'Angelo Russell. He said
where D'Lo needs to go is Brooklyn. D'Lo's only gonna be good in Brooklyn. He get to do the little sturdy dance, the little whatever dance, and all that, and they'll be good again, and it will be a happy marriage. But well, this is a transition. I don't know how to transition to this. It's extremely sad. But it was the main thing I wanted to talk about because we've talked about these other things for the past 5 months. That is Mr. Adreian Payne. Wait, hold on. What am I sharing? I got it? Okay, I got it. Mr. Adreian Payne, 31 years old, Atlanta Hawks first round draft pick in 2014, man. Very sad for me. Just, like I was telling Malik earlier today, one of my top memories of him, first memories when I hear Adreian Payne's name, he was drafted in 2014, traded that season at the deadline. In the 2015 playoffs, he was sitting behind the six-man section, watching the game just quietly, just watching the game quietly and left the game, walked out just like everybody else and stuff. And I don't know, that really hit because it was like he really felt a connection to the team in the city. Every summer was at ABL, AEBL, playing in Atlanta and stuff like that. It's always connected, even in his like Twitter biography and Instagram, it both said like Atlanta was one of the cities he lived in. So he was just always connected to the city, despite only playing for the Hawks for like a few months. And I don't know, it's just things like that that say a lot about a person's character, everything like that, in my opinion. Lacey, as you guys see, Lacey, who was battling, as Jay Billis shouted it out. She was battling that cancer in college when he was at Michigan State. She passed away in April 2014, months before the 2014 draft, and he had the little Lacey, long live Lacey thing inside of his suit jacket for the draft and when the Hawks selected him. So I don't know, just a lot of good memories with this dude. Didn't really pan out in the NBA, went to Minnesota, went to Orlando, but who the heck cares when a 31-year-old dies? It's kind of like the whole Adam Schefter thing. Who cares that the dude got cut by the Washington football team? He's 24. So I guess you guys have anything? I'll let you guys take the floor.
Yeah. Like I said, it was definitely sad. Obviously, you never want to see that happen to somebody so young, obviously, especially the way that it happened and everything. And, people forget, that was in Michigan State's, you may say their heyday, and in college basketball, he was part of those teams, cut down hoop nets and everything. And obviously, like you said, he got traded. He wasn't with the team as long, but even if you're not, you can still make an impact. You can still love and embrace the city. And like you said, he did that, and that's something that just shows you the kind of character that he has as a person, and that's the main thing. He's remembered as a good person, remembered as a lover, obviously, with Lacey and everything like that. So it's, like I said, sad that it happened, but like I said, we'll always remember him, for all the good memories, and like I said, for what he gave back to the community and etc.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know I talked about this earlier on our other show, but yeah, rest in peace. Like I said, I mean, it seems like stuff like this is happening all the time now. just a different name to it. And it seems like it's just getting younger and younger. You feel me? So, you know, everybody got to stay safe now, man. This sort of stuff happens to anybody. Adreian Payne, like I said, I really just, you know, knew him from playing with the Hawks. And of course, I remember he got traded to the Timberwolves, but he seemed like a great guy. Like Rashad said, came back to the playoff game and everything like that. So he seemed like a pretty solid dude. But yeah, man, rest in peace for sure. Like, definitely got to stay safe in these streets, man. Young guy, 31, man. That really, like, you really got to think about that, bro. Like 31, that's crazy. It's crazy.
And killed by a 29-year-old black man. It's a suspect.
Right.
I guess for you guys, as young black men, we grew up in a very traumatic time, and I feel like it's always been traumatic for black men in America. But I guess just from your perspectives, you know, we're all, you know, pretty young and stuff like that. Just, I guess, how do you deal with this news? Like, you know, I'm sure, you know, we've all kind of grown numb to it to a certain extent, but how do you still deal with it, still be empathetic, but also continue to like live without feeling so paranoid all the time?
I mean, the biggest thing, man, is just, you know, you just take it one day at a time, and you try to do the best you can do day in and day out, and try to help as many brothers as well that you come across, and, you know, make those connections, and you know what I'm saying, just try to be as helpful, positive, and, you know, you're as much as yourself as you can through the process. Because, like I said, some things you can't control, obviously, you know what I'm saying? If something happens to you, I mean, sometimes that may not be in your control, you know? So biggest thing really is just to, you know, always remember, you know, hey, I want to make an impact the best I can. I want to help try to prevent things like that if I can. And like I said, reaching out to people, you know, making those connections can sometimes be a start in that process, helping other, you know, black men, you know, reach success in what they want to do, giving them the confidence and the motivation that they need, you know, because not everybody, like I said, is coming from the same situation. Some people may not have to deal with it as much as others, but, you know, it's still out there, and we know it's out there. So it's part of our responsibility to do our part, you know, just in case, you know, so that way it's like maybe because we touch somebody, that maybe change the trajectory of their life, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that.
Yeah, man.
Well said, Brice. Well said, Brice. Go ahead, Malik.
Definitely. Yeah, like, just, you know, piggybacking off of what Brice said, you know, but yeah, I mean, some, like, I can't lie, like, it's tough sometimes, man. Like, shoot, I'm writing like crime stories every day now, and I just can just, like, sometimes I just try to picture myself in that situation. I'm like, dang, bro, like, this can literally happen to anybody. Like, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, literally, like, last night I was like laying in the bed, and I heard like gunshots, like ringing, like going, like, it was, I thought it was dang near a shootout for a minute. It went on for like 5 seconds, like, and it was really close to the house. And I was like, oh shoot, like, and I was shaking, bro. I was like, oh my God, like, what's going on, bro? Like, and it's like that type of stuff is like, bro, like, this stuff happens near you, like, it can happen across the street, like I said, like, it can literally happen at any time, anybody. But like I said, like, if you, like, last week I went to an anti-gun violence rally. Like, those type of events, like, we need more of those events. Like, we need the kids and the youth to come out, because what I'm realizing is it's the youth that's really getting affected by this stuff, and they're the ones with the triggers. They're the ones with the guns. Like, this year, I feel like it's been like out of hand at this point, but we need events like that. We need people to come out and talk to these kids and let them know, you know, the consequences, and, you know, what can really happen, and how it's affecting your family, how is it affecting everybody around you. You know, by just making one mistake of something that lasted for 5 seconds can lead you into jail or prison for 5 years, 50 years. No, like, it's crazy that one decision can mess up your whole life. So we really got to, you know, have these type of conversations with the youth and with everybody, and just come together as a community at the end of the day, man. Like, it's really going to be about community, family, and really just, you know, trying to shed a positive light on, on our youth now, man.
There's one particular podcast. I forgot the exact name of it. Like I would say the exact name of it, but I don't know. I think it's Sports and Ish is like the clean version of it. And they did this cute little thing where everybody's from Atlanta, so everybody got it on them. And they're talking about Trae Young, and he did the whole Will Smith thing where he brought out a gun and he said, "Keep Trae Young's name out your mouth," and everybody's laughing. And there was another co-host on there. He brought out his gun. He's like, hey. And it's like, I don't know, man. Is why are we making that a cool thing in Atlanta? Like, why is it like, oh, everybody in Atlanta got it on them? Like, I got it on me. It's like the video of the kids at the gym in Chicago. You guys seen the video of the kids, like they all lifting their jackets or opening their bags. They all got it on them. And it's been like that for a while now. Before the internet, but the fact that it's like broadcasted so much and celebrated and championed and people laugh, I don't know. It's kind of sick. It's pretty sick. It doesn't happen in any other country. It might happen in other communities. It doesn't just happen with the Black community, but it doesn't happen in any other country. And the fact that laws are kind of being signed to kind of encourage that even more so in the country and in the state of Georgia, I think it's sickening. And, I don't know, man. I think the only resolution to this is to restrict the access to the weapons. And I know that's a controversial, politicized take, but if everybody got it on them, everybody gonna use it. I mean, it's just, you look at the different countries. If China doesn't have mass shootings, if they have like 2 mass shootings a year, they got 1 billion people that live over there. And we have like a quarter of what they have, and we have 50 times, 100 times, I spit, more mass shootings. I don't know. There's an issue there. Like, how does nobody see this problem? Does someone need to shoot up I don't know if I could say that on YouTube, but does something need to happen to a church again? Does something need to happen to a school again for us to have this conversation? Like, doesn't that matter that it was a 31-year-old and it's going to be a 17-year-old tomorrow over someone's girlfriend, and he didn't like the way he was looking at her at prom? Like, it's tired. It's tired. It's a lot, man. I don't know how we're ever going to get through it. And I think it's something that you don't even think about. That's how I deal with it. I just don't even think about it. And when it happens, you're like, dang, that's messed up. And you get sad about it for a little bit, but you just don't think about it. But I don't know. Just taking time to acknowledge the issue, the fact that there is an issue, I think it's important. And I think it's an important step in it. That's it. That's all I have on it. I hate to bring the mood down and end with something so dark. I didn't expect to go down that path. I remember Adreian Payne. Is there anything else, I guess, or anything like that? I just want to say guns aren't cool. Like, we're trying to make them a cool thing. They aren't cool. Like killing people is not cool. That's it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, man. I mean, I really don't have nothing much to say. Like, I feel like you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, having a gun is, and just having it out in general. Like, I don't understand, and just flaunting it around like it's something cool. But I mean, when you have a system, a governor that just signed, what he just signed, so that can happen in Georgia. That's what you're gonna get. So people are gonna abuse it and things of that nature. So yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, obviously Malik knows and everything that, I moved to Kentucky like last year. And obviously when I came up here, obviously laws and stuff were different in Georgia. Obviously, one of them was being the gun law. Like, they really don't have any gun restrictions here. Obviously the city I'm in of Lexington is, when I got the job, we got like statistics saying it's like the 8th safest city in America, whatever. But Louisville is like Louisville, like people, like like I'm in the news, so like we get notifications about it. Like Louisville, something's popping off like every day. Someone's getting shot every day. Like it's definitely a very active scene up there. And even like because like obviously I'm from Atlanta, we have a high crime rate, and I know other people I've met through my news station. One came from Memphis, and Memphis is a place that's active. We know obviously Chicago is known for that, and we're hearing what's happening in Louisville, we're being like, dang, it's almost as active. Because when it's every day or every 1 or 2 days, you just think, wow, even Bowling Green down here gets some action sometimes with some shootings and guns being drawn and stuff like that. So, and I remember they released some gun report, and Kentucky was like 47th in gun laws out of 50 states in terms of like how effective they are. So it kind of just shows. And obviously Louisville, and especially Louisville, is like probably the most diverse area in Kentucky. And it sucks that's why we get associated with gun violence and stuff like that, because you think blackest city in Kentucky is the most violent city in Kentucky. It's that's the type of stuff that kind of sucks, because then people are gonna think, oh, it's because of them. But I mean, living here in Lexington, I feel obviously, I guess, safe compared to where I was before, but we still even have people here. We've had some stuff happen. Like last year, Lexington had 34 homicides the entire year. But Atlanta, I'd be like, Atlanta, we might get that in a month. I'm just being honest. Like, yeah, like, it's crazy. But, assuming, but I think they have like 9, 10 so far. And so they're like, obviously like, oh, it's unsafe. Well, we got certain people moving here. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of it's like gun related stuff and people doing drive-bys. And it's just like, if we control access to guns, that might solve a lot of those issues, because, if it's one of those things where, there has to be a source of why all this is happening. And that probably is it. It's just, you have the issue is you have the other group of people who I want to be able to own a gun to go shoot it whenever I want. But if you own the gun, you can also use it as a weapon of mass destruction. And it's like people say too, you can restrict maybe the type of guns, because then you have people like, why do you have an AK-47? I don't know. I don't know what you would need an AK-47 for. I mean, they said we need to go back to, if that's the case, we need to go back to giving people muskets or something. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They said, well, at least that can reduce the damage because they got to reload and all that. You can get out of there instead of having just an automatic. Why does anybody need an automatic? Like, I don't know, man.
It's bad in Jackson, Mississippi too. I was over there as well for a couple of years, so it's really bad. Like something just happened at like the state fair or something like that a couple of weeks ago. So it's bad everywhere. It's bad everywhere. And I wanted to ask you, Brice, since we have you on, and you said Kentucky at the beginning in the intro, I said Kansas. I was thinking of something with the K. So, anyways, with you being in Lexington, how do you feel about Ryan Howard?
I'm dead. I like Ryan. Obviously, working to get the news. Obviously, I'm close to the sports team we have here because they know that's like my aspiration sports. And obviously, we know some people obviously know Ryan, interview Ryan and stuff. Ryan is a great player. Obviously, I didn't really pay attention to a lot of, college basketball in general, outside of when March Madness comes around, and then obviously women's. And then, being here at UK, obviously we're reporting on it. So you're hearing it consistently. You're knowing who the star player is, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, wow, she's really good. Atlanta Dream got a really good one in Ryan Howard. I think she's going to go crazy, though, just because she's lived in small cities her whole life. So going to like Atlanta is going to be an adjustment for her because she's like, whoa, so much, you know what I'm saying? But, she definitely solid player. Definitely could be one of the stars of the WNBA. You know what I'm saying? And obviously that's a whole thing. If you've been on NBA Twitter, a couple of days ago, they had a discussion about WNBA. Depending on positive, negative, it depends on what you see. You know what I'm saying? Just know I'm gonna be like Fred VanVleet, give me Liz, but outside of that, Ryan Howard solid.
This man is insane, bro. that's a wild bar to end it on. But so salute to Ryan, man. Salute to a new era of Atlanta basketball. Cheyenne Parker, 5 months fresh off of giving birth to a babe. What? Killed it. She got ejected because she Kayla, who is that? Kayla Thompson. It was KT. She kicked KT, Kayla Thornton, excuse me. Kayla Thornton in the shoulder, and Kayla Thornton grabbed her face and fell to the ground, and she got ejected for that. So great acting job by Kayla Thornton, KT over there and stuff like that. But the Atlanta Dream still pulled out the win. The Aussie over there, the rookie that they have over there from Australia and Baylor, she's having a great start to the season and had a great preseason as well. And then, obviously, as Malik knows, the steal of the draft, Nas Hillman coming off the bench. A little bit of a slow start for her offensively and kind of getting acclimated to the game, but we'll see what happens as time progresses. I'm excited about Atlanta basketball for the summer. This past season, it's not so happy for me. So hopefully this new kind of generation, a new breath of fresh air with the Dream will be refreshing for me for the future of Atlanta basketball. In the meantime, everybody, show around, shout out your socials and everything where the people can find you.
Yes, sir. You can catch me on Twitter, Instagram at Brice_2K. If you want to follow me there, tweeting about different types of sports, Atlanta sports, Falcons, Hawks. You also can go look up my YouTube, Atlanta Hawks, or Atlanta Falcons fan shows. If you want to see coverage of the teams, Malik's been on there twice before, so he knows what it's about. And first ever Atlanta Hawks fan show person, actually. So always has a special place in the show's heart. And you also can check my website out at Brice2ksports.com as well.
Definitely, man. Appreciate it, Brice, for coming on as always, man. My guy. Definitely. You guys know where to find me. Malik _ oh dang, oh not Malik _ I'm tripping. _ Malik ATL, man. Twitter and Instagram, as always. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share. Atlanta Sports Unlimited. Make sure you guys go check out Brice's Atlanta Hawks fan show and Falcons fan show as well, for sure.
Man, you already know. You can follow me on Twitter at The Real Ryan Howard, #1. Thank you guys. Until next week, take care of yourselves.
And if they come out clean.